Now we're gonna see the top dialog bar, which is shortcuts for some menus that we've saw before. So like creating new scene, daytime, just default, no, creating new scene, opening a project, or saving one, creating a snapshot, cut, copy, paste, duplicate, scatter, replicate object. I want just to point to some thing that we can see is the object. Just oops. Here we have the. If you can notice, we have this little dot or point here. This means if you right click, there will be, not right click, there will be a window that will pop up. Okay, so if you right click, the window will pop up, or if you maintain the left click and let it go, it will display this pop-up or this window. And if you have the arrow, this means that you have other tools, or you can choose other options or other tools. So this is the redo and undo, the undo redo buttons, recording macros and playing them. Here is for loading the atmosphere editor. So as you can see, dot, when I click, it displays a window or pop-up. If I right click, it will open the loading atmosphere window. Here is for painting ecosystems, is for editing objects if you have the ability to, and this one is for painting ecosystems and doing instances. This is the material summary. For example, if I had a lot of material, for example, yes, I want to, for example, duplicate again and apply another material, which I don't know, this one, it will show a summary and of all the materials that I have here, and I can really simply edit them in a simple way. So pretty useful. And here we have a select by wireframe color, so all what's red in wireframe, it will be selected. Here for aligning, and this for flipping or mirroring. This is the simple tool for frame selected objects. For example, it will zoom, extends, etc. So pretty simple here. Zooming and dezooming here. You can make viewport, extend viewport, as you can see here. These are for animation, displays the wizard animation and the timeline, so just by clicking. And here is for region rendering. Oops. And this one is to use region rendering, as you can see. Okay, and we have render here, and to disable rendering here is discard render area. And when you click here, you have rendering, escape, and you're okay, stop rendering. And if you right click, we'll have this render options. Okay, now in the right or the left dialog here, we have, it's like the object menu. We can create, I'm creating new scene. Okay, I can create, for example, I delete the ground, and now when I left click on this, it will create water surface, as you can see here in the preview. If I render, as you can see, we have C. If I right click and maintain click, if I do left click, and if I maintain the left click pressed, I have other option like creating a ground, as you can see, or just simply adding a clouds. This is on depending on what you want. As you can see, you have the arrow here, objects, the same thing. I think it's pretty simple. We don't have to lose time there like creating any of these. I want just to point to this one, which alpha plane. Okay, you can add the color picture and alpha, and then we'll do the trick for you. So here is adding for adding text. Now type we want cg dots plus. Okay, okay, and it will add the text directly in your scene, as you can see. Now for creating terrains, you know, a pop-up window will appear. Left click, and it will create terrain automatically. And if you right click, you have the terrain options, and you can choose the width and the height. Okay, so here for procedural terrain, and this one is for plants. When you click, it will create automatically, and if you right click, sorry, just have a sphere here that I don't want. Okay, if I click here, it will automatically create this little plant here, as you can see. Okay, and if I right click, it will give me the possibility to load plants from the collections here. And we have bushes, flowers, grasses, plants, sci-fi, whatever you want, you can find it. And here is for rocks, clouds, meta clouds, and creating full planets. We're gonna take planets. For example, if I click here, you can see that we have a planet, and here I can make it bigger, you know, just and try to render. As you can see, really useful in some cases. And here we have loading object is for grouping, boolean, meta bulb, hyperbole, and then grouping, creating light with left mouse button pressed. You can choose any type of light, quadratic, and here spotlight, etc., direct light, direction light. Or here for wind animation, and just a little bit down you can find the drop object, which is this one here, just over there, just to show you. And for example, if I create a sphere here, I can click there and it will, oops, here I am, sorry, if I just create a new scene, sorry for this, and I create a sphere, as you can see, and just make it move it up. If I click the drop object, it will automatically put it on the ground. So it's very useful option. Yes, all the options are useful, but you know, they didn't make anything randomly. Everything they made was for a certain purpose. So as you can see, we have already covered this top dialog bar and the right dialog bar, left dialog bar here. And now what I want to show you is the control panels here. What's the control panel stand for? Let's see firstly the material editor, or how to edit materials in sorry, I just want to I would sorry for this. I just want to drop the object on the ground, but okay, Control D, oops, Shift D, and it's okay. Now let's select our sphere and let's see the material editor. Here we have two type of material editor. We have the basic and advanced. This is the basic, and this is the advanced material editor. As you can see, we can play with the alpha, bumps, highlights, transparency, reflection, translucency. And just by double clicking here, it opens the material editor, and by double clicking here we have the collection, and you can apply any material and then change its parameters there. So we're gonna see after about the material editor. So Now we have here, you can change a color type. We can change a color, or choose a color type for our object. This means if I want to, this will be the default color of the object, like in Studio Max. Pretty simple. And here you can display the material. Okay, here is hiding from render, render area. Simple options. You have the scale for textures, etc. And here we can edit material, opening all materials, and here for loading materials. Here of numerics is changing the pivot point and flipping the pivot point, orientation, etc. So I think it's pretty basic. Here moving, you can you can change all this stuff. You can move it like this automatically without going to the viewport. Here for example the orientation, here the size, you can drop it like this, or no, as you want, you can move it. Okay, now for this one is the twist, if you want to rotate it. And here is editing the position of the pivot point. Okay, now we have the motion and animation. This we're gonna see it in a simpler way when in another tutorial when we'll be talking about animation. Here's the main camera, and we have a little preview each time we do a modification. For example, as you can see, now we can switch from main camera to top camera to all cameras we have. If I create another camera, for this example this one, and just move it like this, if I choose, see that we can go from a camera to another just by doing this. And this give us these buttons here give us the possibility to move our camera in certain ways without being obliged to pass through here. So you can here just click and move. Okay, and can open the angle or close it, as you can see. Useful options, and here you can sort the camera. Now let's focus on the I just want to focus here. We have our layers, and our what's layers in Vue. For example, if I put layer 1 under layer 2, it will not, the layer number 2 will not override the number 1. It's just like groups, and it contains all the objects that we've created. For example, if I create layer 2 and move it just over here, and just move it, sorry, I made a mistake. Layer number 1 for example, and delete it. I have here, I just want to create layer number 2, and on layer number 2 I want to create a plane, so a train, sorry. As you can see, if I put the layer number 2 on this changed nothing, so the order of the layers is not as important as it would be in a 2D editing software. Now I want to import a model just to show you the next steps, which is the cool. And okay, it loaded the model here, so I'm going to take a look. As you can see, it's a bit small, so I just gonna make it bigger. Okay, now if I open this layer here, you can see that it contains a lot of group, a lot of sub layers, and I just want to close this one. And for example, the cool object, which is this one, if I select it, will select and the person and the ground, but I don't want the ground to be present here, because we already have one. So I just select the ground layer, or you can the ground group, and just delete it, or just select the ground here and click on this one or this one and delete. Okay, and we still have Ryan here. Okay, so we're gonna make it come over here and select the camera now and just rotate it a little bit, and here we are. So I just wanted to show you the materials here, and it shows all the materials for our scene. For example, here we have head, and by just double clicking we edit the head, and we have each object. You can select object by material. As you can see here we have body, and for body I just can double click and edit. Okay, it's pretty basic. You know, it's displaying all the objects in the scene and with their respective materials, and I can select object by material. This is a pretty useful option, I think. We have here the ecosystem materials. This one, when we get a lot into ecosystem, we're gonna use it. Now for the other part is the library, which contains master object, and I don't really use it. And here we have all the texture maps that are in the scene. For example, this is the Ryan body. If I double click on it, it will open it, for example, with the viewer here, or the Windows Photo Viewer. But for example, if I wanted to double click and then do a right click and open with Photoshop, and then I want to edit my thing, then I can edit and reload it from here, and it will automatically update in the program. So as you can see here, now if I double click, it will open with Photoshop. And if I want to edit this layer here, I can come over here and add something, or necessary type tool. For example, I want to add the CG dots plus, for example. Oops, sorry, CG dots plus. Okay, sorry. And if I just make it bigger, okay, apply, and just make it bigger like this. Just to change that, I don't know why, sorry for this. CG dots plus, here it is. And I want to, for example, just rapidly, I know, just to show you. And if I just save the image like this, and here if I go back to, we can see the here for about CG dots type here. I'm gonna zoom a little bit, like here it is. As you can see, it's pretty useful when you want just to modify something specially, and also it will modify all the texture. It's really useful and easy to use. So I think I just wanna undo this one, okay? Because okay, now I want to concentrate now on the viewports. It's pretty basic, and we're gonna cover it in a little bit of time. Now we have 4 views, which are the side, top, front, and main view, and here we have the camera. Now you can in any of these view render your image just by clicking this button here, as you can see, and edit each view's parameters. For example, here you can choose the view, perspective, main camera, side, etc. We have the wireframe box. As you can see, it will display a box, simple box, and we have the wireframe here, as you can see, and also we have the slot shaded, so we will see all the facets, and here we have the smooth shaded, which is the normal display. Show fog in view when using atmospheres, etc. You can show fog. Refreshing sky, if you want to, it will update. Okay, so refresh sky. Anytime you do modification for the sky, you can refresh it. Show only object from active layer. For example, it will, if I do cool, it will show only the objects here on the cool, I think. Okay, so here light from scene, you can use lightning from scene, or lightning from scene, or just the viewport lightning. Use a reference picture and show last rendering back. This is, for example, here you have the last render of the scene, and you can modify as you want to, so you can modify according to the render here. So it's simple as this. For this view, for extending a view, you can just double click here and we'll do the thing for you. Now let's go back to the main camera. If I just cancel. If I just rendered here the image, okay, and this is, I can display the last rendered image, the alpha and the Z depth. Okay, pretty simple and useful in some cases. So go back, and now for example, now here we have the G buffer, for the multipass masks and G buffer, and you can decrement or increment your G buffer, and this is the post-production parameter where you can change the exposure, control, natural film response, lens glasses, for example, I don't know, some color correction. As you can see, I'm adding some interesting effects. Well, as you can see, pretty simple, color filtering, etc. So some parameters, and briefly it's something useful in some cases. I don't know, I've never used it before, but I don't know. Here also you can display the available resources. Also, yeah, before going there, here we have also, when you click here, you have we have the same options here. You can, for the view and the shading and displaying, refreshing sky. Also you have the light from scene, as you can see here, and you have to enable or disable shadows as you want to, and show last rendered in back, and this is, you have your image, and this is, and in the back you have the rendered image. So you can change things as you want to, and I really don't use it. And here we have the 3D view, we have the display color channel, alpha channel, etc. as you can see, and you can post-product it, display multipass. This is a little bit tricky and really useful. We're gonna see it in other tutorials, and I think we've covered pretty much everything in Vue, so I just want to go to my default scene, and here, as you can see, with the, you can display the number of polygons, the available resources, or the used GPU resources. And here you have the number of objects and lights, you have the zoom and the number of your cores. And I think we've covered pretty much everything in the Vue user interface. And I think that's all. And you've enjoyed watching my videos for the first day of the tutorial. Sorry for my bad English, but I try and do my best. I hope you'll enjoy it, and thank you for watching.